Summer movie season is almost upon us, so I'm going to rank all the movies coming out this summer based on my excitement. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So today I'm doing a little tier list ranking of all the movies coming out this summer. These range from the big superhero blockbusters to smaller horror films. I've got about 25 or so movies on this list, ones that I deemed worthy to speak about. There are a lot of movies coming out this summer that I'm just not going to discuss, but these are sort of the big releases that most people will be talking about. Before I get into this thing, be sure to hit that like button. It helps out more than you guys know. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. And comment down below which movies you're the most excited to check out in theaters this summer. And real quick, if you want to watch movies and TV shows with me, you can do so on my Patreon. I'm currently watching through Stranger Things over there, but I have lots of other movies and TV series lined up. If you become a patron at the $5 tier right now, you will be entered into a giveaway to win a cool Stranger Things Funko Pop moment, Disney's Wish on 4K Steelbook, and a movie poster for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Your support over on Patreon means the world and allows for me to continue making these videos, so consider becoming a patron today. It means more than you'll ever know. Without further ado, let's rank these movies. Alright, so the tiers I have are Need It Now, I'm Excited, I'm Curious, and I Don't Really Care. And again, I've got about 25 or so movies on here, so without further ado, let's just do this thing. The first one we've got is Twisters. This is a sequel and or reboot / remake of Twister from the 90s, a movie I myself have not seen. I will watch it before this, however, because I'm intrigued by the trailers. I'm putting this in I'm Curious. Glenn Powell is quickly becoming one of the biggest names in Hollywood after Top Gun Maverick, after Anyone But You. He's got a movie called Hitman coming out this summer, directed by Richard Linklater, actually. So he's just going to keep on skyrocketing in fame. And he's great. I really loved him in Top Gun Maverick. He's charismatic as hell in Anyone But You. And he seems to be playing that part in the Twisters movie just based on the marketing. Plus, you've got Daisy Edgar-Jones and Anthony Ramos. Solid cast. The premise looks neat. I haven't seen the original Twister. Apparently, this looks like a straight-up remake. I don't know what, by definition, this movie is in relation to Twister, but I'm curious enough, so it's in that tier right now. Moving on, though, we've got Despicable Me 4. I'm kind of out of touch with the Minions films right now, / Despicable Me world. I saw the first movie in theaters, as well as the second movie in theaters, but I don't think I've seen anything past that. I've seen none of the solo Minions movies. I have not seen Despicable Me 3. Kind of, again, out of the loop when it comes to the Minions. I almost outgrew them in a way. I kind of just stopped watching them at a certain age. I would say because of that, there's a chance I'll watch it, but it's almost in the I don't care tier. But it's a big July release. Despicable Me 1 I have fond memories of. The second one was fine. But I could see myself getting a random urge to be like, you know what? I'm going to rewatch everything and watch all the others for the first time in preparation for this movie and maybe do a big old Minions ranking. But at the same time, I kind of just don't know if I care that much anymore. Next, we've got A Quiet Place Day 1. This is going in the I'm Excited tier. This is one of my more anticipated movies of the year. Big fan of the first two Quiet Place films. Saw them both in theaters and thoroughly enjoyed them. In fact, I'm looking at my Blu-ray shelf right now. I've got them both on Steelbook. Chef's kiss. They're both works of art. But regardless, when it comes down to this film, it is a prequel. Lupita Nyong'o and Joseph Quinn are headlining it. And apparently Joseph Quinn shines here. Execs at Paramount have been blown away by his work. So that's great news. Lupita Nyong'o is an Academy Award winner, so that speaks for itself. It's got a great cast. The Quiet Place premise automatically creates a level of interest as a viewer where I'm going to be hooked in because I'm going to be sitting there in the theater holding my breath. I don't want to breathe just like these characters. I don't want to make any noise because I don't want to get killed by one of these monsters. I would say I'm very excited for this. It has a chance to be one of the better movies, not only of the summer, but of the year. It could go down as the best horror film of the year, though there's a lot of time left. We're not even close to October when a lot of big horror movies come out. But anyway, moving on, we've got Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. That's a mouthful. The Apes trilogy, every single one of them, all the titles are very long to say. War for the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. It's a lot to get out, so when I review that movie, that'll be interesting. But this one coming up quick. It's May 10th, I want to say, is the Friday of its release. And I'm going to say I'm excited for this movie. More excited for A Quiet Place Day 1, though. So I'm putting Kingdom, I'm just going to call it Kingdom, in the I'm excited tier. For whatever reason, I'm not as hyped for this movie as I should be. Thoroughly enjoyed the trilogy. I've seen all the newer Apes films in theaters aside from Rise. But I'd say I've seen Rise and Dawn a handful of times. War I've only seen once in theaters way back in 2017. It's been almost 7 years now. So I'll be rewatching the trilogy prior to this film. Hopefully that, re-sparks some interest for me. But honestly, it ended so perfectly with the character of Caesar and story-wise that I'm hesitant to revisit this world so soon. At the same time, I think that this is really only connected to the original trilogy, or the reboot trilogy, if you will, because it's set within the same world, but it's like hundreds of years after the events of War for the Planet of the Apes. But it's not Matt Reeves helming, it's Wes Ball, who did the Maze Runner films, and those are okay. So, I'm excited, but I am cautiously optimistic, let's just say that. Next we've got The Crow. This is a remake of the Crow film from the 90s. I don't care about this at all, I'm putting it at the bottom. It looks awful. I'm just gonna be honest, it looks terrible. The marketing, they dropped a trailer and I went and watched it and I was like, what the hell is this? It looks cringe, it just looks very angsty for what. I haven't seen the original The Crow, but a lot of fans of that film are really outspoken online about how this looks like a disastrous, borderline disgrace to the original film. If I'm remembering my facts right here, I think the original Crow is the film where the actor was shot and killed on set, which is a horrible, horrible tragedy. I could be misremembering or thinking of a different movie, but regardless, it's weird that they want to remake this, and I don't know if it's necessary. In fact, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's not necessary. I don't think this movie's going to be a success at the box office or with the critics or audiences. It genuinely looks like a complete miss. It's almost like they didn't read the room when making this movie. Next we've got Borderlands, which the internet has said is James Gunn's movie unofficially. People are like, damn you Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't really know how I feel about that statement because I love Guardians and James Gunn's style of superhero films. Borderlands looks fun enough. I think it's really difficult to judge a movie like this based on the marketing because no matter how you slice it, they're gonna try and market it as this superhero film to sell tickets because that's what the mainstream audience loves, especially in the summertime. I'm gonna say I'm curious about this one, but I'm actually gonna put it behind Twisters. It's got a great cast. I think Cate Blanchett is in there, Jamie Lee Curtis, Kevin Hart. I don't know if Jack Black's in the movie or if I'm making that up because Jack Black's in a ton of stuff nowadays, but it's got a solid cast, I'll say that much. Multiple Oscar wins amongst the cast, so I'm curious. It definitely does have that superhero movie vibe to it, which is not a bad thing. It could be one of those summer fun movies where it knows what it is and it's a blast through and through, but at the same time, it could miss the mark entirely like a DCEU movie would. So it's really hard to read based off just that one trailer, but I'm curious enough. Next, we've got Deadpool and Wolverine. I need this movie now. I need this movie yesterday. This is my most anticipated movie of the year, and I think we're getting another trailer probably in a matter of weeks. I would assume they'll drop it before Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes comes out so that can run prior to the movie in the theater. Deadpool and Wolverine is going to be an event. I think it's going to break $1 billion at the box office, and it's featuring a return of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. I rewatched the trailer the other day from the Super Bowl and I was like, damn, I love what I'm seeing. Deadpool and Wolverine, match made in heaven. They've teased it all along, obviously the opening of Deadpool 2, when Deadpool himself is sort of mocking the end of Logan. It's gonna be a match made in heaven. Sure, we're gonna have cameos galore, but it's gonna work within the context of the MCU and the plot. They're gonna poke fun at Disney, Fox, Feige, you name it. This is going to be damn near the ultimate Deadpool movie. I just hope it doesn't lose focus of the fact that it is a Deadpool story, not a multiversal story. I think the multiversal elements and the cameos can supplement an already hysterical Deadpool film and give us elements of that original pitch for Deadpool 3 where it's like a road trip buddy movie. Give us that with these wild cameos and maybe even set up something bigger in the MCU, but I'm ready regardless. Deadpool and Wolverine, need it now. Right now I would watch this movie over anything else on this list, to be honest with you. Next we have Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. This is a prequel set within the world of Mad Max Fury Road. I don't care, truly, I don't think I do, but I am gonna put it at the top of just because there's that glimmer of hope where it's like, you know, maybe I could like it more than Fury Road. So the cat's out of the bag if you didn't know, I'm not a Fury Road guy. And that usually gets me heat online, and I own it, but I'm just not a Fury Road guy. Visually, technically, I can respect the film, but it's just not my cup of tea. I am genuinely just curious to see if this movie can be better or worse than Mad Max Fury Road. So that's why it's not in the outright don't care tier. Chris Hemsworth is doing some insane over-the-top bit. It looks like the whole entire movie. He's got like a fake nose on and this wild accent, but anyway, I'll put it in the tier. Next we've got In a Violent Nature. This is a horror film from the POV of the killer, and apparently there's a wild kill in this film. A lot of people have said one of the craziest kills they've ever seen in a horror movie, so we'll see what that's all about. I'm curious about this one. I'll put it at the back of I'm curious. I'm not a huge horror guy, but I swear I get these random boosts of energy where I'm like, yes, let's watch all the horror movies. Last summer I was like, let's do the Conjuring series, Insidious, let's do it. And then for 6 months I was like, I don't want to touch horror. And then eventually something will revive inside of me and I'll be like, yeah, let's watch every horror movie on my list. And then I'll watch 10 of them and be like, okay, I'm good for another 5 months. So I'm very weird with horror. But I will say I'm proud of myself for actually branching out and watching any. There was a point in my life where I was like anti-horror growing up. I would literally be at a sleepover and be like, no, I will not watch that devil movie. I've come so far. But anyway, In a Violent Nature, I'm curious enough. I don't know if I'll end up even seeing it. I just put it on this list. But in terms of concept alone, I'd have to say there's some curiosity there. Moving on, we've got Harold and the Purple Crayon, which is Shazam's next movie. I don't care about this at all. I would actually put this outright last. I don't give a damn, and why should anyone? This movie is a flop waiting to happen. Next, we got the Garfield movie. I wish I could say I cared. I think Chris Pratt's voicing Garfield, so that's cool, good for him. Who doesn't he voice is the question I ask now. I also don't care about this movie, but I care about it more than the other movies down there, so it goes at the top of the list. All I remember about Garfield in my life is this. I was a young lad. We're talking 6 years old, maybe. And this was back when dollar theaters were a real thing, where like movies would have much longer runs theatrically, and after like 4 or 5 months they'd go to the dollar theater, you get a ticket for $1 and go see the movie. I saw Garfield like 2 there. I think there was a live action run of Garfield films, and I think Bill Murray was the voice of Garfield. They were in like London or something, I don't know. My other options were X-Men The Last Stand or Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. It was just a day at the movies, I guess, no matter which way you slice it. Then we've got The Fall Guy. This is one of my more anticipated films for the rest of the year. I'm going and need it now. I really, really cannot wait for this movie. We're only a matter of weeks away from it hitting theaters May 3rd. It's kind of the movie that kickstarts summer movie season to me. David Leitch is the man. He directed Bullet Train and Deadpool 2. Bullet Train, one of my favorite films of 2022. Just a fun time and really, really sleek, cool movie. The Fall Guy looks to be exactly that. It's a rom-com of epic proportions. Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. Looks like my kind of movie. Need it now. Next we've got Inside Out 2, which I would love to say I'm excited for, but I'm almost more cautiously optimistic than anything else because of Pixar's recent history. For me, they haven't had a banger since Onward. That was in 2020. And I'm in the minority on that. A lot of people are like, Onward wasn't all that. I'm a big Onward guy. Wasn't crazy about the recent run of films. Luca, Turning Red, Lightyear, what's the other one? Elemental. They're fine at best. They lack that classic Pixar charm and heart. And because of that, I'm just going to have to say I'm curious for Inside Out 2. I'm putting it at the top. Would love to say I'm over the moon excited, but I'm very nervous. The marketing hasn't fully sold me. I'm hesitant with Pixar sequels. Sometimes they're hits, sometimes they're eh. I do think this is one of the premises that deserve a sequel. Inside Out, you could do 20 Inside Out movies inside of different kids' minds, but we'll see if this one lives up to the first. Next we have Cuckoo, or Cuckoo, whatever your preference is. This is a horror film coming out in August. I saw the trailer for this before I saw Immaculate, and I was like, automatically, I'm interested. I would say I'm actually excited for this movie, straight up. I'll put it at the back of excited. There's certain shots in the trailer that really won me over. It looks creepy as hell. And there's one shot from the trailer of Hunter Schafer's character riding a bike. In the shadows, we see like a hand come out, like someone's chasing her. She has headphones on, so she can't hear it, she just sees it. Haunting stuff. I literally got a chill in the theater, turned to my buddy and was like, that movie looks awesome. Next we have The Bike Riders, which stars Austin Butler and Tom Hardy. It comes out in the middle of June. I'd say I'm curious about this one. Probably would go about right here. In the middle of curious. I haven't even really watched any marketing for this or seen the posters. I've actually avoided pretty much everything about this movie. I'm just basing my excitement level off of the fact that it's got Tom Hardy and Austin Butler. It's all I really need to kind of sell a movie is have some movie stars, and I have no clue what the movie's about. We'll see. I will probably watch it, but I'm curious enough based on the cast alone. Moving on though, we've got Fly Me to the Moon, a movie I know nothing about as well, but it's got Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum, so color me curious. I will put it probably right here, near the back of I'm Curious, but those two, interesting pairing, and Channing Tatum, I'm always a fan of this guy. He needs to have a resurgence. I'm here for it. He's great in the Jump Street films. He's awesome in even Coach Carter. Like, anything you put him in, he's pretty dynamic. And the man can dance, too. So, yeah, I'd say I'm curious about this one. Next, we have Bad Boys: Ride or Die, which will probably make a good chunk of money at the box office. These films have their audience. For me, I wouldn't say I don't care. I would put it, like, at the back of just because You never know, maybe I'll watch the other Bad Boys films before, but I've actually never seen one of these movies, straight up. At least it's got McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy, and I think he's playing the villain, so hell yeah to that. Next we have Alien Romulus. I've seen the first 2 films, Alien and Aliens. Love both. I have seen the 3rd film, unfortunately. See, I just tried to forget it as I was saying this. I always forget it exists. It stinks. It's the worst I've seen. Haven't watched the others. Will be doing so before this movie. Shout out to the trailer for immediately selling me on this. I'm excited for this movie, straight up. I'm gonna put it like dang near right here, dang near the top of excited. Like, this movie skyrocketed on my most anticipated list just because it looks so comparable to the original film stylistically, but also apparently it's gonna have some of the action of Aliens. It could be a perfect hybrid of both films. I'm on board. Sign me the hell up for Alien Romulus. I will be rewatching 1 and 2 and sadly 3, and then I'll watch the rest of the films. I haven't seen Resurrection, nor Covenant, nor Prometheus. And I think technically there's like an Alien vs. Predator film, maybe multiple of those, but I don't know if I will be watching those or not. We'll see. Next we have If, which stands for Imaginary Friend. This is from the mind of John Krasinski. He is back in the director's chair. Ryan Reynolds stars, as well as a plethora of other stars like voicing these imaginary friends. I don't know what it is, but something about the marketing has not landed for me. There's the potential for this movie to be one of those like family fun movies that's super heartwarming, but it also could just be a disaster. There's really no in between. I would say, as it stands right now, I'm gonna have to go eh. Like, I don't know what it is. The marketing has not sold me for this movie. I love Ryan Reynolds, but I just don't know what it is. It's not clicking for me. So I'll go top of eh, meaning I could pretty much go without it, but there is a chance I will still see it. Next we have The Strangers Chapter 1. I believe this is a remake slash reboot slash sequel, forgive me, I'm not a horror aficionado, to The Strangers or just Strangers. I forget what it's called. But I watched part of this movie and it's pretty haunting. It's about like this house out in the middle of nowhere and these people wearing these masks approach them. I'm looking at the poster right now and yeah, I think I saw the trailer for this new one actually before I saw Immaculate. I guess I would say I'm curious, probably put it back behind In a Violent Nature just because you never know. I would love to learn more about this movie. I genuinely just put it on here because I was scrolling through IMDb. I was like, oh yeah, I think I saw part of that other movie years ago at a friend's house. So next we have Maxine. This is where a lot of you guys are gonna be like, how dare you, Chris? I don't care. I'm putting it there right now. The reason I don't care, I'll put it at the top just because it's of the movies in that category right now, it's probably the one I have the highest chance of actually watching, but X was not my jam. X was not my jam. I thought the movie was a total bore and absolute BS, actually. By the end of it, I was like, what am I watching right now? It just was not a slasher movie for me. I'm a fan of some slashers, the Scream franchise in particular. I'm a fan of Thanksgiving. Not my jam, X. And so I never watched Pearl because of it, and I know it's like a trilogy of sorts. Should I watch Pearl? I don't know. People have said you should give it a chance. It's different than X. I just don't know if I can fully buy in, and because of that, I don't really care about Maxine, though a lot of people out there do, and I can't blame you. And the last on this list is Kraven the Hunter, which for some reason I thought came out in October, but then I realized, oh, it was supposed to come out in October of last year, and then it got pushed an entire year damn near to August of this year. What reason? The strikes, they said, but I don't know, this movie seems doomed from the start regardless because it's a Sony villain film and they've never made an actual good one. So because of that, I would say I am going to watch this movie. I'm kind of committed to watching it, and Aaron Taylor Johnson's charismatic enough to where maybe it could be fine, but I'm going to say I'll put it at the top of that because at least I know I'm going to watch this movie. It could be another Madam Web situation, or another Morbius situation. To me, I describe this movie as Morbius 2.0, and I stand by that. I think it's going to be disastrous, but hey, at least we've got Aaron Taylor Johnson carrying the movie, right? Hopefully, at least. But that does it for the summer 2024 movies ranked by excitement. Let me know in the comments down below which of these movies you're the most excited for and the least excited for. Hit that like button, of course, and subscribe if you haven't already to be notified for all my future videos. And if you guys want to watch movies and TV series with me, you can do so on my Patreon for $5 a month. If you guys sign up right now, you'll actually be entered into a giveaway to win some awesome prizes. I have more information on that on my Patreon right now, but that'll do it for this tier list ranking video. Thank you guys, as always, for watching, and until next time, I'll see you guys later.